going on, Brian? How are you?
What's going on, man? What's going on?
Good. Nothing. How's fight week going so far for you?
It's going great, man. It's going amazing.
Yeah. Talk to me about this matchup. But we talked to Yair a little while ago. He kind of detailed how you guys were kind of friendly before you got matched up, and it was not something he necessarily wanted, but it was the fight that needed to happen. So did you feel the same way? Was this a fight, an opponent you really respect?
Yeah, 100%. This is something that if you really pay attention to what's been going on in the division, it does make sense for us to fight. You know, I lost to Volkanovski, and he just lost to Holloway, and he is ranked number 3, and I'm ranked number 2. So we both coming off a loss, and we're about to basically fight each other to climb the ladder again, basically.
What's your mindset been since the Volkanovski fight? I mean, it seemed like a lot of people gave you a lot of street credit and props for that performance. Despite the loss, you showed toughness. Do you take any sort of comfort in that, or is it just like, you know, I got to get better because I didn't win?
I mean, I already been having that street credit. But I lost you when you said I got street credit. What was the question?
No, I just was saying, do you feel like there was anything you gained, even though it was a loss? Do you feel like you gained more respect or anything from people? Is that something that means anything to you?
Every single fight for me, win or lose, right? I look at holes in my game. I go, man, if I got caught with this, or I shouldn't have did this, and I got good people around me that are brutally honest. Like, yo, you fucking sucked. Like, the fuck was that? I'm like, oh shit, okay. So, every single fight, I learn more about myself, you know, and I think that's the beauty of this sport, that it's never ending. It doesn't stop. So, from the last fight, there's definitely a lot of room for improvement on things that I had to do, on things I had to work on. Refighting again in front of a crowd was new. So there's a lot of news again, and we literally for the last, I don't know how long, it's been 8-9 months, we've been trying to patch up the holes and then keep moving forward.
From a technical standpoint, what do you feel like your biggest focus has been? I know you said feeling comfortable with the crowd and the moment and everything, but from the technique side, was there things that you saw in that Volkanovski fight that you were like, man,
Oh yeah, for sure, man. I sat there and I looked at that tape over and over again. I go, how the fuck did this man get out that choke? I was on top celebrating. I'll be honest with you, I was in there and I had him in that guillotine, and I was just like, I'm about to be a world champ. Like, I swear, I was just waiting for the tap, and it never came. And he got out, and I was like, shit. Well, this is a tough motherfucker. And then it was like, oh, he's on top now. I was like, okay, he's pissed. And then I was like, another triangle. I was like, T-City, my T-City. And then he escaped. I go, fuck me, right? And then I was like, damn, bro, this is not my fucking night, or what's going on? And then after all that, we go back, and me and Henry sit down, and we talk, and we look at all the film. And they're just minor adjustments that I missed, you know, small things that I have to rework on. You know, you as a fighter, you stick to your bread and butter and you do things. And because I've been known as a jiu-jitsu guy, I kind of got comfortable with it, and I didn't train it as hard as I used to. It's like, well, I got that in the bag. Let me work on these other things that I'm not so good at. Let me work on my striking. Let me work on other things. And then when it came down to the situation where your bread and butter is going to get you this fight, I forgot minimal minor details, and it was a reality check for me. It was like, yo, don't forget where you come from and what brought you over here.
Do you think that that's kind of going to be your mindset going forward? Like, should we expect to see you kind of go back to those roots more, where you really succeeded on the ground?
100%. I would love, I mean, obviously this guy's a phenomenal striker. I would love if the fight somehow ended up on the ground, or if I can take him down. He's wired as well, though, you know. I got both things in the bag as well, where we can, you know, you see me banging out with the best of the best. I keep trying to get better at it, but I do want to mix in more of my trainings and the things that I know I can do in the octagon. And it's something that's always happening to me. I go in there and I train and I spar and I train with high level guys, and they're like, bro, where is this Brian at when he's fighting? And it's just like, fuck, man, I don't know. Like, I don't want to say I have like stage fright, but just certain things don't pop off, and maybe I have to learn to just let go and be free in there, and something hopefully that I plan to do and always get every single time I fight.
Last one for me. What did you make of Yair's last performance against Max? Were you pretty, despite a loss, do you feel like that there was...
He did great. He did great. Phenomenal. Like, he did an amazing job. I think he lost the exchanges when it came to maybe like the takedowns and the grappling and stuff like that. But on the stand-up, he looked great. He was, in my opinion, I think he was winning some of the exchanges just due to the leg kicks, you know?
Hey, Brian. When it comes to that Alex fight, you know, obviously you were so close to winning. Is that more frustrating because you know how close you were, or is it something you can go to a rematch and think, well, I nearly had him, this time I can get him? Is it more confidence building or more frustrating?
One more time, please.
So you had him in that choke and you nearly finished him. Is it more frustrating knowing how close you were to winning the fight, or is it something that gives you confidence going into a rematch, knowing you can win if you make those small adjustments?
It's both. It's both, because I'd be lying to you if I didn't, for the last couple months, and every fan reminding you, like, yo, you almost became a champ. I was like, thanks, you fucking dick. You know, like, you don't think I sit there and I think about it? Trust me, I know. I gotta live with my fucking self.
Yeah.
And then there's a part of like, bro, stop being a bitch, you know? Like, go in there and make the adjustments and make sure you're undeniable the way he's doing right now. I gotta take a page off his book. He's making sure that he's undeniably the best that there is. I need to become that. If I want to become a champ, I need to steal a page off that man's book, which is when he comes to that mentality, you have to be undeniable. Yeah. And that's what I'm doing. I'm doing my best to grind, to work as hard as I can to make sure that I'm undeniable.
I remember when Dominic Reyes fought John Jones and the decision was kind of funky. He said that he found it really hard to get motivated after that because he felt like he had nearly won and it was like, you know, he couldn't get up. Is that something you struggled with for this one, or were you the opposite? Were you like, I was so close, I better get back there again? Which ones are you?
I mean, I didn't know. The fact that us fighting again didn't cross my mind. I was like, well, fuck, I gotta climb. I got knocked down the ladder. I gotta see what I have to do to climb back up, right? And motivation for me is something that comes pretty fast, actually. I know where I came from. I pull motivation from different resources in my life, and motivation is never a factor when it comes to my life. You know, if anything, it's staying disciplined, staying consistent, going when you don't feel like going. And something that I did learn from my first defeat was I thrive when I put myself in arts and worlds that I'm not good at. Like when I go to the gym and if it's me and you start beating my ass, I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, this is what I need. I need this. I need to lose here because that means I suck here. And then I use you as a way of understanding my skill set there. Because in the beginning, you're let's say these guys take me down, whether it's wrestling or whether it's Muay Thai, and these guys just beat me up for 5 rounds straight, where it doesn't seem like it would be fun, but I'm thrilled. And then later on, it's like, well, you only beat me up for 3, you only beat me up for 2, and now it's a tie. Oh shit, now I'm coming up. Like, give me the next one. I'm actually learning this. I'm having fun with this. And by the time you know it, you're in shape. You look good. You feel good. And you're like, holy shit, I got better. It just happens, you know, through doing it. And I feel like you have to have fun in the journey. And me personally, I have fun when I go to places and I lose. And I'm the white belt again. And then it's like my goal is like to become that black belt.
Last one from me. I think when people look at this division, for me at least, the top 3 names are always Alex, Max, and you, right? Those are the 3 that seem to be at the top all the time. When you look at Max and Alex's last fight, Do you think that was just Alex getting so good he could outclass Max, or do you think Max is maybe declining? How did you look at that fight and evaluate it?
That one is it's a tough one to call. You know what I'm saying? It's a tough one to call. I do feel like us as human beings and as fighters, we have good days and bad days, right? There's days where you're on fire, and there's days where you're on not. You know, and that's what it is. You have a bad day at work right now. You just have to ask a couple questions whether you got dumped right now or something, and you just gotta suck it up. I gotta get fucking hit in the face, and I have to, do to my game plan, do everything. And this is something I've always said, that we're human beings at the end of the day, and I don't know, because only people who do know that is Max himself, whether he knows he had a good day or bad day, and Volkanovski as well, But my credit right now is to Volkanovski, because he did break his hand during that fight. He kept going. He looked phenomenal. And he got the job done. He set the trilogy out, and he shut him out 3 times to none. And all credit to that man. He's doing great.
Brian, Yair told us that he's been told a win would mean a title shot for him. Has there been any indication to you what a win would mean for you?
I haven't personally had anyone come up to me and tell me, hey, you're going to win and you're going to get another title fight. But looking at how it's looking, it makes sense. And somehow in my career, I'm always in these situations, and to me, it's like, fuck it, let's go, I lost to Max, and then I came back, fought Zombie, and he was on a tear, and they're like, yo, this fight gets a title. And I was like, all right, cool. I was just trying to fight again, but all right, let's go. And then same thing, I lose another fight, another title fight against, I said my both losses come from the champs at the prime in their time, if you really pay attention to it. So I'm not too far away from there, and I know there's different things I'm changing in my life to make sure that I'm right there with them. So when it comes to this fight, if whoever wins does get a title shot, then that's what that is, And I look at it as I'm so far the man who's put the champ in the most trouble. I'm not saying I beat him or nothing, right? But where he's had the most difficulty, or someone who's dangerous to face him, is me. And the world saw that, and he knows that, and we'll see what happens. I have one man to focus on this weekend, so last thing I want to do is start speaking about the future and start, counting all my eggs before they hatch.
Between Volkanovski and Max and you and Yair, there's been a lot of competitive fights in this division. What does it say about the depth of this division and just how competitive it is these days?
Bro, it's insane. I feel like this is the most stacked the featherweight division has been in its entire life. Because you got Max, who's a force to be reckoned with, and then you got Volk, which is like, holy shit, and then you got myself in there, like, and then you got Yair, and it's like, top 5 ain't pretty for anyone. Like, we're hard. That party where you walk in and fucking no one welcomes you? Like, that's who we are to these newcomers. Like, motherfuckers not welcome. Like, and it's hard to get in. And that's what we're doing, And it is what it is. We're tough. I think someone said there's only been one person who's been kind of finished in the top 3 or so. I forgot what it was, the stats I read, but I was like, holy shit, like, they're right. None of us go down easy. None of us go down at all. We're fighters. Yeah, we're like top, and it's tough.
So I know COVID changed a lot as far as training camps and who you train with and whatnot, but I know you used to train with Dr. Andy Galpin. Have you gotten back to working with him?
We've never stopped working. Yeah.
Well, in person. I remember you guys were doing like virtual, right?
Yeah, we're doing virtual for a while, and it's the same as in person, He does a great job. He's one of the most amazing people that I have worked with when it comes down to actually having a nutritionist and someone tell you what to do with your life. He's someone that has been a game changer for my life. When it comes down to structuring my life, when it comes down to training, to schedules, to when to rest, when to eat, when to train, how hard to train, how hard not to train, when to take a day off, when to relax. I needed that in my life. I had no structure. And I don't know if you guys have ever heard of me speak about that, but I was the kind of person who would sleep in and I would wake up and take a pre-workout for breakfast and it was just like, all right, what are we going to do? Let's go figure this out. I feel like lifting some weights, or I feel like doing this. All right. And as long as I worked hard, I thought that I was doing the right move. But I was eating Jack in the Box. I was eating Subway. I was eating Denny's. I was eating Norm's. I was just doing what I thought was working at the time. And to me, when you're uneducated, you kind of, to an educated eye, you look stupid. And that's what I was, you know. I was uneducated in the fact that I was like, well, a tuna sandwich is healthy, right? They're like, no, man, check this out. This is how many carbs, this is how many grams, this is protein, this is this, it had this added. And you're like, what the fuck is all this? I didn't even know. And then you actually listen to it and you start doing it and everything changes. And Andy has been a game changer for my life. And he's one of those men that every Saturday he's at the track workout with me and he's doing the same drills I'm doing. He's behind me. Like, I'm like, fuck, I can't shake this motherfucker. Like, I'm in shape, and he's like, I'm right behind you. I'm right. He's talking shit, but motivation-wise, right? But he's an amazing human being.
Yeah, I love Andy. We spoke about you one time, and I was like, Brian Ortega seems like the nicest guy. It was when you had the incident with Korean Zombies coach or whatever. I was like, why would he ever do that? He was like, no. Like, it's funny that your eyes went up when he said street certified before, and you didn't even hear his question, because that's what Andy Galpin told me. He's like, Brian Ortega is almost the Los Diaz brother. Like, you are street certified. Like, you're that guy.
I'm what they are, but from Los Angeles, you know? It's just, they're up north, and I'm Sureño, you know, and from the south.
So you fought Volkanovski. If you do, like, an honest assessment of that fight, is he levels above you, or was that an off night for Brian Ortega?
No, there's no excuses at the end of the day, right? You go in there, you do your best. There were things that I didn't implement that I should have done a little bit more. There are errors that happened when it came to the submissions, to allowing both hands to get on my hips. That's the escape there, you know? So I thought I had the arm still in, and the elbow slipped out through the crack when it allowed both hands to place on my hips. So there are adjustments that I have to make, and obviously in the fight, it's a hard thing to do, man. It's a live fight. Like, I'm fighting for my life. He's fighting for his life. It's a game of inches.
Oh, for sure.
And if you're off by one, as you can tell in my fight, it will cost you.
So now your book is still being written. You may be one of the greatest featherweights of all time when you're done. There's Aldo, Volkanovski, and Max in the argument. Who's the featherweight GOAT to you?
I think Aldo, as of right now, just because he defended it for, I don't know how many times, I don't know who has the stats on that, but I want to say 7, 8, 9, I don't know. I remember just being barely pro and just watching him go from WEC to UFC and stay there for the longest till Max beat him. To be the king for that many years, that's a lot of years, you know?
Oh, for sure.
So as of right now, it's him, but for sure I see Volkanovski right there with him as well, based off everything that he's done. And Max is in there as well, you know? You made 3 great points on 3 great fighters that have been in the UFC featherweight division.
So Brian Ortega might be that 4th one on that Mount Rushmore.
He's on his way up there, man, for sure. Before my time is done here, the world will remember me as one of the top dogs and best fighters of the featherweight division.
And then obviously I guess people will always assume relationships and fighting doesn't work, but you and Tracy Cortez obviously both fighting at the highest level. I see you coaching her. She helps you in the corner. Is it ever a hinder at all, or is it always just fuel?
No, it's always good, man. You know, like we understand each other's work. We see what we do, and it helps, you know, because someone who doesn't understand what we do, they're like, damn, you're so fucking selfish, or all you do is care about you and your career. You don't even care about me, or whatever it is, right? Whatever these situations may be with fighters who deal with any athlete who deals with a partner who doesn't fully understand what they're involved in, right? And this just helps. To me, it helps because it's like, yo, I did this today, and right off the bat, she's like, oh shit, yeah, you're tired. Like, I'm gonna just leave you alone. I'm like, cool, thank you. Or like, if I had, you know, women, you know, they have a bone to pick once a week. They just wake up like,
Once a week, once a day.
oh, fucking whatever. I'm lucky I got once a week. They
So
just
now-
sit there and look at you while you're resting like, what the fuck am I going to fight with this man about today? And she does a good job at
What's harder?
checking her emotions.
What's
on that.
harder on your nerves, your fights or her fights?
My fights.
You get more nervous for your fights than watching hers?
Yeah, with her fights, it's more anxiousness. It's more, am I prepared? Am I ready? Am I going to be able to coach her the best of my ability? It's easy when you're not in here, man. When you don't have to step in the cage and fight, to me, it seems a lot easier. The world is not, the weight of the world is not on my shoulders anymore. Like, the weight is on her shoulders. And the weight for me is just make sure you maneuver that joystick right to where she does everything right. And to me, once you do your homework on that aspect, it's pretty easy.
So Yair, well, that last one from me. I know Yair is kind of like a gypsy, travels gyms a lot, and he's moving around a little bit. Have you and him ever crossed paths?
Training-wise?
Training-wise or anything personal interactions, anything
Oh,
like
yeah, for sure. We've seen each other a lot of times. We've seen each other in Mexico. We partied with each other in Mexico. We partied with each other in Vegas. We did a race together where we flipped a car together. Like, we took second in the Mint 400 race, and I asked him if he wanted to be my co-pilot in the car. He was down for it. We were over there partying, hanging out at Dan Bilzerian's house, and that's kind of where we had to talk. I said, hey, bro, like, realistically, we might fight each other one day, but just know I got no beef with you. No, it ain't no hard feelings. And I hope the day when that day does come, which has came, is we're both getting paid and we're putting Mexico on the map.
Awesome. Thank you, brother.
Brian, you talked a little bit about your diet, how you changed it up, obviously. When about did you really get serious about your diet and kind of doing that kind of thing? What time frame was this?
I'm still doing it now, dude.
Oh, you're still there, okay.
I'm proud of myself, though. Because the thing is, I was raised off of just Mexican food, which is very carby, a lot of carbs. And then, my mom over there in the back would tell you, like, all she did was make beans, rice, soups, and tacos with more tortillas. Like, my whole life, it has been like that, you know? And I actually tell my son that. I'm like, hey, man, you got to learn how to eat right because when you get older, it's going to affect you. And it did, you know? I went from eating nothing but carb foods, which is in our culture, and eventually you move up and you start getting older and it becomes Jack in the Box and McDonald's and this and that. And that's all I ever ate. My fuel my entire life has been junk food or Mexican food. So to be an athlete and everyone's telling you what you're doing is wrong, but I'm winning, I was like, nah, fuck you guys are wrong. Like, it's Mexican power, bitch. Like, watch me eat a fucking torta and go fuck someone up. And I used to. So, but it wasn't until I got my ass beat and it was like, yo, you're fucking getting older now, bro. Like, you got to make this weight. It ain't easy when you were young anymore. And truth is, I've been fighting in the featherweight division since I was 15 years old. I'm 31 now. So some changes have to happen, and they've been happening. And mostly, I'm really great when it comes to being disciplined when I'm in training camp, down to every ounce. But the second the fight's over, you know, start calling my name, fucking tacos and everything. She's like, fuck, I love you, but on a cheat day, motherfucker, don't talk to me.
Is there anything you're looking forward to eating in the city? Obviously, we're New York City.
I'm gonna fuck everything up. I'm gonna get Pete. I get my little bit after the fight, you know. After the fight, I'll for sure some pizza, street dogs. Go to some great restaurants. Hopefully, someone on Instagram just sends me recommendations on where to go and places to eat. I got my family here with me, so we're just going to explore the city, have some fun, eat a bunch of good food, and just have a great time.
You're talking about getting bigger, getting older, getting the weight coming off maybe a little harder than it used to. You have to take it more seriously. I think you've talked a little bit about the idea of maybe going up in weight at some point. How much did you even think about maybe going to 55 after losing to Volkanovski?
Not too much, because I guess for me it would be like, yo, how are you gonna lose at 45 and then try to go up to 55? Everyone to be like, come on, dog, stay in your lane. I'm right. They're right. I'm gonna stay in my fucking lane. So making the weight, I got Andy, like I told you. Andy helps me with all that when it comes down to getting right and getting everything ready. He does a good job of that, and he's been able to manipulate my body in the ways that it should perform. And as of right now, it's weight cut. I'm super light I'm light as hell right now, and I feel great. My energy's good. My mind's right. So he does a good job. But eventually, I do want to go up there and fight at 55. And maybe, who knows? I just might have to just shut everyone up and just go up there, and who cares what they say. But in the future, I will be at 55.
Thank you, Brian.
Hey, Brian. Right here.
What up?
How would you see this? There's some talks of Volkanovski trying to move up. How do you see all of that? And my question was like, would you ever think about moving up? You just answered that. How do you think a fight between you and Charles Oliveira go?
It would be a great fight. He's a tough motherfucker, man. That guy's on a roll right now. I'm so happy for him because his story is motivated, to come from those losing and seeming. And it almost seems like the world is like. It almost seemed like he was going down, right? Like everyone forgot about him, like. And as a fighter, like fighter to fighter, right? You start maybe thinking, oh fuck, is my career coming to an end here, or am I not the same anymore? And this guy moves up a whole nother weight class and just dominates 10 fights in a row, wins the belt, defends it once, twice already. Like that shit's motivational, And to share the octagon with anyone on that skill level for me would be an honor. I've talked about it, people, and I think people took it disrespectfully, but as a fighter and as a competitor, I want to test myself against the best. I didn't come in this sport to fight weaklings. I didn't come in here to fight easy fights or, hey, you're going to beat that guy, so, it's a good, fuck that. My entire career, I've never had one easy fight, and you could look up my resume, from when I came in, right off the bat, they threw me with the guy who Thiago Tavares fought 15 times in UFC. I had probably 7 pro fights in general. And I proved myself, and when I fought all these guys that were on winning streaks, I fought Diego Brandão when he was on a winning streak, Clay Guida when he was on a 3-4-5 winning streak. Everyone that I fought were at their peak, at their best, Never one easy fight till this day. I think this is the first time in my career where both of us are on a losing streak, but we're still at the top. Or we lost once, So yeah, I would love to. I'd love to move up there. Cool. Thank you guys.